Welcome students. Today we will discuss wheat and its products. Cereals are the most important source of plant food to the man. They are considered a gift of Ceres, Roman goddess of agriculture. All cereals belong to a grass family, Gramineae or Poaceae. They are cultivated members of the grass family and as such are therefore monocotyledonous angiosperms. The common feature of cereals is the seed or grain, botanically known as caryopsis, in which the seed coat is fused with the ovary wall. Wheat belongs to the genus Triticum aestivum. The genus is further subdivided into a number of species, which can be classified into types according to the number of pairs of chromosomes they contain. Diploid 7 pairs, tetraploid 14 pairs and hexaploid 21 pairs. The hexaploid type is the major class of wheats known as common wheat, whereas the tetraploid wheats are known as durum wheats. Wheat is one of the major important cereal crops in the world. In 2010, world production of wheat was 651 million tons, making it the third most produced cereal after maize and rice. Approximately 70% of the world wheat production is used as food, mainly as bread and cookies, and also as a source of proteins and fiber for many people around the world. Major cultivated species of wheat. Hexaploid species. Bread wheat Triticum aestivum is a hexaploid species that is the most widely cultivated in the world. Triticum spelta, another hexaploid species, is cultivated in limited quantities. Tetraploid species. Durum wheat is the only tetraploid form of wheat widely used today, and the second most widely cultivated wheat. Immer wheat is a tetraploid species cultivated in ancient times but no longer in widespread use. Diploid species. Einkorn wheat is a diploid species with wild and cultivated variants. Classes used in the United States. In a general way, wheats are classified according to the texture of endosperm because this characteristic of the grain is related to the way the grain breaks down in milling and the protein content, because the properties of the flour and its suitability for various purposes are related to this characteristic. Vitreous and mealy wheats. The endosperm texture may be vitreous, that is steely, flinty, glassy and horny, or mealy, that is starchy and chalky. The specific gravity of vitreous grains is generally higher than that of mealy grains. Thus, Triticum dicocoides, Triticum monococcum and Triticum durum are species with vitreous kernels, whereas Triticum compactum and Triticum aestivum are mealy. Hard and soft wheats. Vitreous grains tend to be hard and strong. Mealy grains tend to be soft and weak. Well-washed prime starch separated from wheat endosperm contains some 0.15 to 0.20% by weight of protein, starch granule protein (SGP). It has been found that one particular polypeptide of the surface SGP with molecular weight 15 K named frabilin is strongly present in all soft wheats examined, but only weakly present in hard wheats. and completely absent from the very hard durum. Hard red spring. Hard brownish high protein wheat used for bread and hard baked goods. Hard red winter. Hard brownish mellow high protein wheat used for bread, hard baked goods, and as an adjunct in other flours to increase protein in pastry flour for pie crusts. Soft red winter. Soft low protein wheat used for cakes, pie crusts, biscuits, and muffins. Cake flour, pastry flour, and some self-rising flours with baking powder and salt added, for example, are made from red winter wheat. Hard white. Hard, light colored, opaque, chalky, medium protein wheat planted in dry, temperate areas, used for bread and brewing. Structure of wheat grain. Wheat kernels are 5 to 8 mm in length, 2.5 to 4.5 mm in width, and 30 to 45 mg in weight. The wheat kernel can be divided into 3 distinct morphological parts: the endosperm, which makes up most of the grain, the bran layer, which surrounds the grain, the germ, which includes the embryo and the scutellum. The dorsal side of the wheat grain is rounded, and the ventral side has a deep groove or crease along the entire longitudinal axis. At the apex or small end of the grain is a cluster of short, fine hairs known as brush hairs. The pericarp or dry fruit coat consists of 4 layers: epidermis, hypodermis, cross cells, and tube cells. The remaining tissues of the grain are the seed coat, nuclear tissue, endosperm, and embryo. The aileron layer consists of large, rectangular, heavy-walled, storage-free cells. Botanically, the aileron is the outer layer of the endosperm, but as it tends to remain attached to the outer coats during wheat milling, it is treated as innermost bran layer. The embryo consists of the plumule and radicle, which are connected by the mesocotyle. The scutellum serves as an organ for food storage. The outer layer of the scutellum, the epithelium, may function as either a secretion or an absorption organ. In a well-filled wheat kernel, the germ comprises 2 to 3% of the kernel, the bran 13 to 17%, and the endosperm the remainder. The inner bran layers are high in protein, whereas the outer bran is high in cellulose, hemicellulose, and minerals. Biologically, the outer bran functions as a protective coating and remains practically intact when the seed germinates. The germ is high in proteins, lipids, sugars, and minerals. The endosperm consists largely of storage granules embedded in protein matrix. Products of wheat. Wheat which have a high protein content, 12 to 14%, are called strong wheat or hard wheat and generally used to produce bread, whereas those which have low protein content, 8 to 11%, are called soft wheat or weak wheat and generally used for making biscuits, cookies, and cakes. Hard flour or bread flour is high in gluten and has elastic toughness that holds its shape well once baked. Soft flour is comparatively low in gluten and so results in a finer or crumbly texture. Raw wheat can be ground into flour or using hard durum wheat only can be ground into semolina, germinated and dried creating malt, crushed or cut into cracked wheat, parboiled, dried, crushed and debraned into groats. Wheat is a major ingredient in such foods as bread, biscuits, pancakes, pies, cakes, cookies, rolls, donuts, gravy, and breakfast cereals. Bread. Wheat is the principal cereal used for bread making. Bread is usually made from wheat flour, water, salt, and is cultured with yeast, allowed to rise, and finally baked in an oven. Other ingredients which may be added include flours of other cereals, fat, malt, flour, yeast foods, emulsifiers, milk or its products, and fruit. Owing to its high levels of gluten, common wheat, also known as bread wheat, is the most common grain used for the preparation of bread. There are a few basic steps which form the basis of all bread making. They can be listed as follows. The mixing of wheat flour and water together with yeast, salt, and other specified ingredients in appropriate ratios. The development of a gluten structure in a dough through the application of energy during mixing, often referred to as kneading. The incorporation of air bubbles within the dough during mixing. The continued development of the gluten structure created as a result of kneading in order to modify the rheological properties of the dough and to improve its ability to expand when gas pressures increase because of the generation of carbon dioxide gas in the fermenting dough. This stage of dough development may also be referred to as ripening or maturing of the dough. The creation and modification of particular flavor compounds in the dough. The subdivision of dough mass into unit pieces. A preliminary modification of the shape of the divided dough pieces. A short delay in processing to further modify physical and rheological properties of the dough pieces. The shaping of the dough pieces to achieve their required configurations. The fermentation and expansion of the shaped dough pieces during proof. Further expansion of the dough pieces and fixation of the final bread structure during baking. Bread types. The main bread types can be divided into four broad categories. Pan breads, that is products based on placing a piece of dough in a metal pan for the proving and baking stages. Examples are the sandwich loaf, open top pan breads, milk rolls, and malt loaves. Free-standing breads, that is where the dough product is proved and baked without the aid of a pan to constrain and support the sides of the dough. Examples of this type of product include bloomers, cottage loaves, and Coburgs. Baguettes, pain porcine, and other products made as long, stick-shaped loaves. Typically, these products will have a high degree of crust formation and characteristic surface markings. Rolls and other small fermented breads baked on trays or indented pans. Cookies and biscuits. The term biscuit is used in Britain to describe a flat, crisp baked good. The term cookie is reserved for something softer and thicker or for a food made to an American recipe. Cookies are most commonly baked until crisp or just long enough that they remain soft. But some kinds of cookies are not baked at all. Cookies are made in a wide variety of styles using an array of ingredients including sugars, spice, chocolate, butter, peanut butter, nuts, or dried fruits. The softness of the cookie may depend on how long it is baked. Cookies also may be decorated with an icing, especially chocolate, and closely resemble a type of confectionery. Cracker. A cracker is a baked good typically made from grain flour dough and usually manufactured in large quantities. Crackers are usually flat, crisp, small in size, and made in various shapes, commonly round or square. Flavorings or seasonings such as salt, herbs, seeds, and or cheese may be added to the dough or sprinkled on top before baking. In US English, the name cracker is most often applied to flat biscuits with a savory, salty flavor in distinction from cookie, which may be similar to a cracker in appearance and texture but has a sweet flavor. Crackers may be further distinguished from cookies by the manner in which they are made. Crackers are made merely by layering dough, and cookies may be made in many of the same manners as a cake would be prepared. Crackers sometimes have cheese or spices as ingredients, or even chicken stock. Crackers are typically salted flour products. Cake. Cake is defined as an edible, leavened, baked, sweet flour confectionery, often enriched with other minor compounds for appearance, typically round and flat in shape. Modern cake, especially layer cakes, normally contain a combination of flour, sugar, eggs, and butter or oil, with some varieties also requiring liquid, typically milk or water, and leavening agents such as yeast or baking powder. Flavorful ingredients like fruit purees, nuts, dried or candied fruit, or extracts are often added, and numerous substitutions for the primary ingredients are possible. Cakes are often filled with fruit preserves or dessert sauces, iced with buttercream or other icings. Cakes are broadly divided into several categories based on ingredients and cooking techniques. Chemically leavened cakes by gaseous development from baking powders, including carbonates, ammonia, acetone, and ethanol. Yeast cakes are the oldest and are very similar to yeast breads. Such cakes are often very traditional in form and include such pastries as babka and stollen. Cheesecakes, despite their name, are not really cakes at all. Cheesecakes are in fact custard pies with a filling made mostly of some form of cheese like ricotta and have very little flour added, although a flour-based or graham cracker crust may be used. Sponge cakes are thought to be the first of the non-yeast based cakes and rely on trapped air in the protein matrix to provide leavening, sometimes with a bit of baking powder or other chemical leavening. Butter cakes, including the pound cake and devil's foot cake, rely on the combination of butter, eggs, and sometimes baking powder or bicarbonate of soda to provide both a lift and a moist texture. Pasta. Pastas are among the simplest cereal products used in the human diet. The elementary pastes include foods such as spaghetti, macaroni, vermicelli, and noodles. Ideally, they are made by mixing durum wheat semolina or flour, common wheat flour, or various combinations of these, water, and optional ingredients such as egg, spinach, tomato, herbs, etc. Macaroni is a variety of dried pasta made with durum wheat. Although macaroni noodles normally do not contain eggs and are normally cut in short, hollow shapes. However, the term refers not to the shape of the pasta, but to the kind of dough from which the noodle is made. Macaroni is usually made commercially by large-scale extrusion. The curved shape is caused by the different speeds on either side of the pasta tube as it comes out of the machine. Spaghetti is a long, thin, cylindrical pasta of Italian origin. Spaghetti is made of semolina or flour and water. Italian dried spaghetti is made from durum wheat semolina, but outside of Italy, it may be made with other kinds of flour. Traditionally, most spaghetti was 50 centimeters long, but shorter lengths gained in popularity during the later half of the 20th century. And now spaghetti is most commonly available in 25 and 30 centimeter length. Spaghetti is cooked in a large pot of salted boiling water, then drained. In Italy, spaghetti is generally cooked al dente, just fully cooked and still firm. Outside Italy, spaghetti is sometimes cooked to a much softer consistency. This was all about wheat and its products. Thank you very much.